If you'd like to see more of our videos, hit the subscribe button to stay on top of the market news. Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMtrading. Today's November 23rd, 2020. And today is Monday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, we're watching the British pound gain versus the US dollar as the market shifts and rotates, okay, breaking above that resistance-ish level. The question is will the euro follow? So we're going to check that out in just a second. But looking at the economic events of the day, at 4:45 South African time, out of the United States, we have a manufacturing PMI number coming out. This is an important number, so you do want to know what's coming in out. Now, looking at the markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, as mentioned, we saw the British pound actually break from its resistance-ish level. The question is whether or not the euro will follow. Looking at the indices, the US, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones, both trading sideways as the market makes this presidential transition between now and January 15th. Now, looking at the commodities, both gold and oil gain from their lows. Now, looking at the stock market, looking mostly as drifting. Okay, the markets are really drifting because of what is happening with the presidential transition. Okay, there's going to be a new president, there's going to be new regulations, and that's going to affect the markets as well. Now, looking at Bitcoin, lastly, holding its level above 18,000. Now, let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to take a look here at a 4-hour chart of the British pound. You can see we broke above this 132.87-ish level. Above this 133.14, we're not really sustaining this 133-ish level. But just to give us a perspective, this is the first time we've gotten to this area since August, okay, since we had that rally back in August. So this is really important. Now, this is a resistance-ish area. Now, if we do float around this area and then break above it, okay, and when I say break above it, I'm talking about sustaining something above 133.50-ish level. We could possibly see it break out up above 136, and that will be the first time since February of 2 years ago. Okay, so that's a major rotation for the dollar as it's getting weaker versus the major pairs. Now, looking at the euro, it's reluctant here, okay? Every time it hits this 118.88-ish level or 80-ish level or 90-ish level, it retraces from that, okay? Right about this area was where it retraces, okay? We're at 118.73, so we're about 20 pips away from our major resistance-ish area. So just be aware of that. Now, looking at the Aussie USD, also flirting above this 173-ish level. Okay, so it does look like it wants to break out, but just keep us an eye on it later today because I do believe we'll have some sort of rotation. Now, looking at gold, it's bounced from our lows of 1855. Now, it's not rallying per se, but it is bouncing from our lows. Okay, so that's a nice little play there. Nothing really to write home about, as I think we'll be trading sideways for quite some time going into the end of the year. Now, looking at oil, trading on the upper level of 42.18-ish level. Okay, if it does end up above it, we could see a resurgence there. Now, remember, Thanksgiving is coming up later this week, which will affect the markets. Predominantly, the commodities, stock markets will be closed on Thursday. The Forex symbols are still open. Okay, so just expect lighter than expected volume across the board. Okay, because this does give us a chance. Most people are already on weekend mode or holiday mode because everybody's really working from home, especially since the second wave is coming in. So I do expect some activity in the markets, but maybe not too much activity. Okay, usually, traditionally, historically speaking, the day after Thanksgiving, the Friday after Thanksgiving, there's usually a market rally, okay, which lends itself into the market rally between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's coming into the balance of the year. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, we are up this morning, 29,387. But if we look at a 30-minute chart or a 1-hour chart, it's not doing much, okay? It's trading within this range between 29,135 and 29,300-ish level. Okay, if it does break above it, then that's something to get interested in. Looking at the NASDAQ, it's really having a hard time with its 12,000 number, okay? So just be aware of that because when we look at the individual stocks, the FANG stocks, they are getting weaker and not showing us some umph there. So looking at Apple, okay, trading at 115, down about $3 from its highs. Facebook also down 267. If we look at Microsoft, also down 209. Okay, this is really significant because Microsoft was the one that took us higher. And Amazon trading at the lower end of $3,093 below that $3,100. Okay, so we're seeing the markets actually get a little bit weaker. Now, when we're looking at the big board, we watch Alcoa still strong at 1875. If we look at a 5-hour chart, it's still relatively strong in what it's trading. Okay, JP Morgan as well, holding that line at 114. So ostensibly going into this week, I do expect a little bit of a bounce, but just taking into consideration, like I said before, we are going into a holiday week. Now, looking at Bitcoin, holding above this 18,000 level, 18,439. If you look at a weekly chart, you could see that we're right there. We're at that previous resistance level, okay, which we hit 3 years ago in 2017, going into that end of the year rally. Okay, so this is quite significant. Okay, so I'm going to be really focusing on this later in the week because I think this is going to add a lot of more stress, whether or not it's going to break or not. Okay, that's really an important move for the price of Bitcoin. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.